Hello, welcome to the stream. Today the goal is just going to be to play on my main profile for a bit. I told people that I would be having a Discord server. You can check that down in the description. In fact, I'm starting to think, what would it look like if I put a little notification and then yoink. There we go. I think that that'll be helpful. Do I like potatoes? They are nice. It might be one of the things that I decide to farm today. First off, let me get items out of my inventory. I've hidden them away somewhere. This will be kind of like a daily life in my existence on Hypixel, I guess. Nothing special or particular planned, it's just me doing the general happenings. One of those things is the Carnival. If you take a look, I'm actually really close in terms of Carnival tokens. This guy will give me a bunch of tickets. I should easily be able to hit the minimum ticket threshold that I need. And that will allow me to max out the new intelligence from the accessory. I already have plenty if you take a look at my number, but I could have a bigger number, and that's the goal. Welcome back to the stream, Afano. I hope that's me saying your name correctly. Let me know if I'm mispronouncing it. As you can see with the text on screen, I have a Discord. It is in the description. It should have stream notifications and a few other goodies from time to time. I should be able to let people know ahead of time when I post a stream, and then the idea with the stream pings is I will let you know the moment that I go live. So if I schedule a stream, I'll probably post that without a ping and let people know, and then when I go live, I'll actually do the stream ping itself. Congratulations on your F6 comp! That's great to hear. Yeah. Alright. Well, let's get this Carnival out of the way. Again, the best advice I can give people doing the fishing minigame is you want to cast your rod towards the fish that are as close to the dock as possible, and then you also want to go for high value fish. Keeping the streak up is essential to getting a high point value. And casting a rod out into the distance like that, it can be risky for your streak, especially if you end up missing or the fish despawns. That's usually what gets me these days. I feel pretty good about my ability to hook a fish, but if the fish magically disappears, there's not much I can do at that point. Yeah, Enderman 5 to be able to use the Juju. I'm skimming over the messages while I try to concentrate on fishing. It's a fun multitask. Alright, well I'm not breaking any records, but I'm getting a decent amount of tokens per thing. You got a Juju from a friend that bought a term. Fantastic! I'm so happy for you. Oh, and you're getting free carries. That's great. From my understanding, it doesn't take a lot of carries to get to Enderman 5. The bigger challenge is going to be getting to a higher Enderman, like 7, if you need to get a Terminator. Fishing time. I'm glad that there's still a lot of nice people in the community that can help others out. Some of my first experiences with Skyblock is just people offering random assistance to each other. Oh, I have a spare armor piece. Oh, I know how to do this thing. I've got this spare gear. It's great to see that that is persistent through all the years of Skyblock, that you're still getting nice people that give you assistance. Yeah. I think the most important thing is make sure that you've got the survivability. The last phase of Tier 4 starts doing quite a bit of damage ticks to you. Oh, there goes my streak. How old is my Hypixel account? Well, I started it about 3 days after Skyblock released. I could have been around and creating the profile the day of, but I was waiting for a friend of mine to log in because we were going to start playing together. And that's the start of my Skyblock profile, as it was just a 2-person co-op with me and someone who's no longer on the profile anymore. So, I've been around since the beginning, before the End Island released. I've been here throughout all of the updates. And despite that, I still take breaks, I find ways to keep myself engaged in the game. And I do play a lot, but definitely not as much as I used to back in the day. I find myself doing maybe a few hours a day of playtime now. Unless there's some specific goal that I'm going towards. Like when I was doing Blaze, I think I played a lot more Skyblock while I was going for Blaze 9. Over the pandemic, I was pretty much like remote school, always in front of the computer. I always had this opportunity to exist playing Skyblock, and that was great. I was able to meet a lot of new people, and I think a lot of people kind of didn't have as many social opportunities since they were locked inside, but I feel like I was already doing something that I enjoyed, and I flourished because of that. I would say that my co-op early on, we had a lot of side quests that we were doing that aren't really important these days. Back when Legion books were super expensive, Floor 5 had just released. My co-op member, they insisted on going for a hypermaxed diver's armor set. To the best of their ability, they were just buying as many things as they could. They bought Legion because there was no other ultimate enchant like Bobbin Time back then that was important to put on a set of diver's armor. And there was no shark armor either, so divers was the best in slot for fishing. It's just really nice just having that timeline of Skyblock where I can look back fondly on all the different things. Yeah. So what's kept you around this long? Is there... it seems like you're starting a new profile, or you've come back to the game recently. Yeah. You took a hiatus then. My profile's kind of the what could have been. In a lot of different areas, I've maxed out the content of the game, and I'm at the point where there's not much left for me to do. If I'm basing my progress and ranking my profile on Skyblock levels alone, I think that most of the content that I want to do in this game I have accomplished. Most of my goals exist outside of the Skyblock level system. Like, maxing out the intelligence in this Carnival bag. It doesn't give me Skyblock XP to do that, but I want to do that to increase my profile stats. And I enjoy aspects of this game that I've already fully completed. Like, I could go back and do some Spider or Revenant Slayer or Sven Slayer. Like, I could do those and enjoy my time, but I'm not going to make that much money, and I've already completed the Skyblock levels progression, so if I'm trying to max out the game, it would make sense for me not to do the content that I've already completed. Hey, welcome to the stream! I noticed that there's a new person in chat and there's a few YouTube lurkers. Thank you for joining. I have a community Discord linked in the description if you want to get stream notifications and hang out outside of my broadcasts. I have been doing daily streams for quite a while now, but I will likely be very inconsistent with my streaming schedule at this point. I'm still trying to figure out when my free time is, so if you want to be notified of upcoming streams, pop into the Discord or hit the notification bell down below. No bingo today! I've completed all of the bingo tasks except for... I need to collect minions. I believe you left a comment on the last video where you wanted me to turn on API access so you could see the bingo profile. I'll make sure to do that for you. I'm guessing you want to see stuff like pets and collections, all the stuff that I was working on for that. Let me get through this Carnival game, and then I will turn on all the APIs. Alright. Bingo profile. Sub to 2K people? Yeah, so probably a Discord notification would be a lot easier for you if your subscription feed is Yeah, 2,000 people. Alright, settings, API settings, I enabled them a while ago. They all should be on right now. But for island settings, yeah, visitors are enabled. I don't think that there's anything else that's off. Yeah. So you should be able to see that. And then my job is just to pop into the island every once in a while, collect my minions like I'm about to do right now, make sure that they have fuels in them, and then carry on with my day. And if I were to be streaming just the bingo profile, the small tasks that I'm doing right now of clicking on the minion and gathering the items, that would be the entire stream. That's all that's left. I'm not going to be manually foraging oak wood, and there's not much that I need to do on this profile. It's just wait for the number to go up, switch to a different minion, wait for the number to go up again. To answer your question, Bingo has a shop associated with it where you can buy a talisman line, which is worth 1 billion coins right now if you get the max level one, and then a bunch of other cosmetic items that you can purchase with Bingo points. Bingo itself, you have the option of completing the full card, which is what I do every single month, but you can also do some of the bingo, like just some of these community goals and whatever you think is going to be really easy. Like if you think alchemy is really easy, you can do that. But you can skip over hard tasks, like if you don't want to get a set of glaciate armor, you don't have to do that point. So bingo, I would say, is a very optional money-making method, and it can be something where you put a little bit of time into it each month if you want to make the most of your time and money. And then if you want to challenge yourself, there's a lot of things you can do on bingo to push yourself. Like these community goals, you can push for top 1%. Yeah, I try to have a cozy podcast vibe. I'm interacting with stream chat, and if there's nobody in stream chat sending messages that I can see, I'll try to keep the chat very lively so that I'm talking. It's kind of a socialization exercise for me where I'm trying to learn a new skill of kind of keeping the conversation going and trying to put something out there into the world that other people can enjoy. I'm happy to see you around, and I'm glad that you've enjoyed the bingo stream so far. I'll be doing them every single month consistently, and I might pop in for a random stream here and there between bingo month. Rev Slayer is really fun, I agree. It's one of my favorites. Oh, that was sarcasm in the chat. Revenant Slayer is one of the easier ones. It's not... It's not quite a free Slayer, like how you can trade tarantulas, and I'd say Svens are pretty easy compared to Revenants. But it's... I would say that compared to Enderman or Blaze, you can definitely turn your mind off a lot more. And I like that about the Slayers, that you don't necessarily have to go through stress. Maybe not fun, but it could be a lot worse. I'll take a look in Museum after this Carnival game. Every single bingo I've completed, I put the card into Museum so you can see the different times that it takes me. I think if you started today, you would need to rush getting at least 10 or more minion slots, which is a little bit more effort than a lot of people will put in typically. And you might need to manually forage oak wood if you're wanting to get the full card. Iron collection, I think you can probably get it done within the 4 days, and then bone collection is going to be tough. You can make your minions go a lot faster through cheese fuel, and you can definitely get a lot more collection progress than I have so far, because I let my minions fill up and they just kind of exist there for a little bit. If you just follow what I did each day, maybe play for a little bit longer on your first day when you're creating the bingo card, I think you would easily be able to complete the card. It's just going to take a little bit more manual effort compared to me. I'm letting the minions kind of coast and get rid of a lot of the tasks that I would have to do manually normally. Let's take a look at the bingo cards from Museum. Now keep in mind, I let minions do a lot for me. If I were to manually forage stuff like the oak collection, I would be getting the bingo card done earlier in the week, but my playtime would be a lot higher on these cards. So, starting from the first bingo, these don't really have playtimes on them. They just kind of exist as cards. It's here is where they start having playtimes, I think. Oh, nope, they all have playtimes. So, the first one took me 2 days. This had a level a pet to level 100 goal. Overall, the worst one. What minions should you use for those collections? I would say that iron minions, you want to get compactors, auto smelters, and you want to be running at least 6 of them. That's what I'm doing. Bone minions should take up your other 5 slots, and then you should manually do the oak collection. If you get done with the iron early, which you hopefully should, swap them over to skeleton minions, and you can go around your minions as they generate mobs with a looting sword and kill them manually if you need to. Does bingo make good money? I would say that... Oh, let's check the bingo shop. A bingo talisman costs 100 points. You can get, if you full card, 105 points every single bingo, and then maybe a little bit more depending on what your participation goals are. Afano, do you want me to show the pets on my main profile or on the Iron Man bingo profile? I can... It's likely the bingo profile that you want to see. I would say, if you're looking at the shop here, you would have to do bingo 10 different times in order to get your Terminator. I don't know entirely if that's worth it if you're going for the lowest bingo talisman, but if you're investing into bingo and you do a lot of bingos and you upgrade your bingo rank, it starts to become worth it. It's kind of like every single other money-making method in the game. If you just start out mining and you dip your toes into it, you might be making 5 million coins an hour. You don't have the powder, you don't have the setup, but if you invest time into doing bingo, if you upgrade your bingo rank, if you follow the strategies every single month trying to, like, improve your playtime, the money per hour that you can generate is significant enough to the point where it's worth doing, in my opinion. I've made billions of coins off of bingo, but I've also done every single bingo since bingo became a thing. Going back to the playtime of the cards, I'm just going to kind of go in order here. I'd say that on average, it takes me, in recent months, it's like between 12 to 20 hours. There are some exceptions to that where it takes a little bit longer if there's a task I have to do manually. But usually I can complete it within the 20-hour mark. Anytime that it goes really high up, I might also be AFKing on my island, which counts towards that playtime. Like, I imagine right here on March Bingo, there might have been some reason that I was idling on my island. My IGN is 9 through 1 kaboom. It's like this in chat. 987654321 kaboom. Alright. Next up we have pets. I have every single pet in the game, and I am missing a maxed out Kudra. I only have it at epic tier, and I'm also missing the mythic level of flying fish. I only have legendary flying fish right now. But every other pet in the game I believe that I have maxed. Yeah, if Auto gets it, it is... Well, I can tab my name. I have Hypixel autocomplete, so some of the people in my friends list I can tab in order to complete their IGN. Or any person in the lobby, like if I want to type out this person with a bunch of numbers in their name, M1, I can just hit tab, and it fills out the rest of the thing. Yeah. Good luck doing bingo. If I had to recommend a strategy for you, you definitely want to do some of the easier tasks first on bingo. You might not be able to fully complete the card without investing a ton of time into it. And if you're completing like an entire row of goals, you get 5 points for doing so. So you want to find something where it's easy to get all of the tasks in that row, and then you can complete it and get the extra reward points for that. Some tasks, like if you aren't able to get the minion tasks, it might not be worth as much going for some of these other things if you're not getting a row or a column completion. Like, why would I open an obsidian dungeon chest if I'm not getting the points from Iron Collector, or I'm skipping something else in this column? Gotta get the New Year's cake. Oh, that's another fun thing I can show. In addition to collecting dungeon armor pieces, I also collect one of each New Year cake. I don't know why I have this collection, but I do. So this is 325 all the way up to whatever this number is going to be. And I've distributed cake bags across my profile for all of the other different sets of years. And in my own accessory bag, cake bag, where's it at? This one. You're able to see this is year 1 through 54, so at the start of Skyblock, the first 54 years I have all of the cakes in a bag. Show the mere mortals how to kill a T5 Rev. On a budget setup, or do you want me to just use my normal setup that I would use to kill things? Because if I pull out the Dark Claymore and I put on my Crimson setup, it's going to be a lot easier compared to stuff you would find on a budget, like Shadow Assassin or low-tier Necrot armor. I don't think I would one-shot it, but I'm probably going to kill it in like under 20 hits, I would imagine. I need to do one more Carnival game. Probably should have done fruit digging. Fruit digging's actually fun. I'll side quest and do a T5 rev after I get this Carnival hat. I'm realizing it's a lot harder to lock in and focus on the Carnival fishing game while also trying to think up words and commentate and read chat. Reaper armor, yeah, I can get the Reaper armor. I can get the Axe of the Shredded out of the museum. I gotta check to see what my Slayer value is. Some of the things in this game I get to like a perfect number, and I don't want to ruin it. I'm pretty sure that Revenant isn't at a perfect number, but if you look at like dungeon completions, I don't want to do a floor 1 dungeon because I've hit 1,000 collection. Same with that. But I'd be more than happy to do more professor runs because I went over the perfect number. Alright. So using my Carnival tickets, or Carnival tokens, I want to buy... Well, now I gotta check and make sure that I get the right mask, because it would be unfortunate if I got it. Okay, so I need Frog Mask, that's the one I'm missing. +1 intelligence. Bingo does follow Iron Man rules, but there are some ways that you can get assistance. Players can splash potions on you. Players can splash experience bottles on you. There's an NPC towards the community center called Elixir, which will give you potions for free. And as your bingo rank increases, you get some free items at the start of bingo. I think by default you should get some medium storage chests, which helps out a little bit with early resource gathering. Do I have my Reaper armor on me, or is it in museum? What does my Reaper armor look like? I see. My Reaper armor is somewhere. Well, that's concerning. Good news is I shouldn't need to do the Carnival anymore. Yes, exactly. It's like any other money-making method. As you do the thing more, you will probably get a better setup, which allows you to continue getting better and better at it. If I take a look at the bingo information here, bingo quality of life features, you get a ton of things. You get more skill experience, quick crafting, auto pickup. You get a bingo pet by default, and then as you increase your bingo rank, you start getting things like a grapple hook, a personal compactor, and a personal deleter. And as your bingo pet increases in rarity, you get more perks from that as well, like more skill experience, more collection items. So overall, I would say that do more bingo, get better at making money from bingo. Alright, I'm gonna need to get like combat gear out. Whatever. Whatever. I'm not gonna even bother getting like the perfect Reaper armor setup. I'm just gonna do the good enough setup. I'm gonna go in Necron armor with a Warden helmet. And what could I use to spawn? I'll just go on mage set, and then I will switch over to my actual combat damage set when I'm killing the boss. You should always have the bingo pet enabled. There's not much reason to switch off of it. The Grandma Wolf pet is something that you can level up if you're going for full card. It can be helpful to get the pet leveled up so that your combo stacks last for a little longer. But other than that, I'm always having the bingo pet enabled. I don't think I need to cheese a T5. I hope I don't need to. I've got no frame of reference for how difficult this is going to be. I haven't done T5 boss in ages. I don't know how high my Slayer level is, but it's like 10 million total Revenant XP. So hopefully now if I... Oh yeah, it's only 81 kills. It's not even a thing where I need to worry too much about. Gotta get the combat XP. Hyperion one tap. Alright, and now swap over to damage setup. Kill, kill, kill. And that's the T5 Revenant. I'll even help this person with their T5 Revenant. Loot sheer foul flesh. Let's go. This guy just broed me in chat. You're welcome. I came here to prove a point, nothing more. Don't boss hit. Okay. That's the first time I've heard someone complain about getting free boss kills. Yeah, so let me put away all of my spare stuff. Take off the combat arm equipment. And this is garden stuff. So there we go. Take out this, and what are we gonna farm today? I'm gonna get my melons. Get that up to the next tier. How did I get pig and rabbit pet without collection? I should have collection on bingo. First off, collection API should be enabled. And if I check my collections manually here, pig pet, rabbit pet. Again, I'm lazy, so I put down minions in order to get those materials, but you could farm them manually. Wait. Did you delete the messages? I'm confused. I thought I saw something. The pets that you should go for on bingo. These are the ones that I got. They all should be viable for you to get. You can swap out one of these pets with Jerry. I forgot to get Jerry pet. I would recommend that you don't do the Endermite pet if you are able to. There's a traveling zoo that will be coming up in a day and 7 hours. If you're able to attend that, there should be a pet you can pick up for pretty cheap. That can be one of the pets for your pet goal. If you're just asking for pets in general for bingo, most pets are not going to be better than the bingo pet will be for you. Overall, the bingo pet is the only thing you should be leveling. The exception to that is Grandma Wolf during combat if you need to drop something like a rare drop, like glacial armor pieces. It can be helpful to have the combo leveled up. So you can see the only two pets I've leveled are Bingo Pet and Grandma Wolf. Everything else I just have not ever used on Bingo. There's not really much of a point. Querio here has recommended the rare bee pet for the people who are manually foraging. Yeah, no worries, no worries. All of the pets that I've gotten should be pretty easy to get, except Endermite pet. I thought it was a lot easier than it ended up being. I took like an hour getting it compared to most of the other pets, which I got really quickly. I also forgot to get Jerry pet, so whoops. I would recommend that you get Jerry pet on Bingo. It is definitely one of the easier ones to get compared to some of the other ones on that list. My API should be enabled if anyone needs to look at things, and I'm more than happy to answer questions. Alright. Before I go into Garden, we're going to be looking at the most recent gamble and refueling Inferno minions. So the goal whenever I fuel up these Inferno minions is I want to get Vertex or Apex. Reaper Peppers are also nice, and a Gabagool the fish is just going to be sitting in a chest for all eternity. It's not really profit. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to collect from all of these minions. So we can see here that's 57 million coins worth of profit in Vertexes and another 18 million or so in Gabagool from the minions. This is the place where I put everything, so you can see here I've got about 400 mil worth of Vertexes and 1 Apex for the minion when I max it out. These Vertexes I'm probably going to be crafting into blaze materials, like a radio and some other stuff. If I decide to go back to Blaze, it would be nice to have all of the items and equipment for it. I can also sell them and make a lot of money. 400 mil does sound nice right about now. I unfortunately need at least 48 of that for collection. So, I have a set of Gabagool Hypergolics already crafted up here. It saves us the trouble of having to do a bunch of crafting on stream. And then if I pull these from chest, I can craft all of the fuels into Gabagool distillate. I also have some capsaicin eye drops, so you can see to fuel my minions, it takes about 85 million coins, plus another 16, so it's about 100 million coins to fuel a set of Gabagool minions. And then I want to take one of these power crystals. And even if I get 10 vertexes from the minion, it only gives me about 57 million coins back in return. So I'm losing a little bit of money every single time I run these minions, but it's worth it because I'm trying to go for this chili pepper collection, max it out, get 20k, and then I'll probably run the minions without Gabagool distillate. I'll probably run Blaze distillate in them, and they'll be pretty profitable. You want to spend your bingo points upgrading your bingo level first. Yes, the bingo rank is essential. You're going to need it to buy all of the bingo talisman upgrades, which is what's really going to make you the money. I'm going to be honest, if you're going for making money off of bingo, the way to make profit is not by getting the talisman and upgrading it by purchasing each tier of upgrade. It's to buy someone's bingo artifact here and spend 200 bingo points upgrading it to a bingo relic. That makes you about 450 million coins profit by only spending 200 bingo points. Meanwhile, if you buy the bingo talisman, you're only making about 120 million coins equivalent. You're getting 3 times less of the value if you're purchasing this bingo talisman. It's like a waste of your points. You always want to be buying the tier before whatever bingo talisman you're able to get and upgrading it to the next tier. Or maybe you could buy like a bingo ring and upgrade it a couple of times. Does that make sense? But your goal should always be to get to bingo rank 4, because that's going to be getting you the most buffs to your bingo profile possible, and it's going to make it even easier to get bingo points in the future. So, I usually find direct buyers for my bingo relics. Sometimes I sell to friends, but I'm also in a situation where I purchased a bingo blue die, and I thought, wow, this is going to be really... like, I can sell this to somebody for a lot of money. When the dies update came out, I thought it was going to be upwards of 1 billion coins, and its value has crashed and plummeted so far that I don't even want to sell it. It isn't worth a lot of value. But if I am going to sell it, it wouldn't be on the auction house, because it costed me 70 million coins to list this for 2 billion coins on the auction house. I don't want to pay those taxes. I want to tax evade on Skyblock. So I want to find people directly, and even if I have to go to a person who wants to take like a 5 or a 10% discount on the item, at least I know for sure that it is going to sell. There's some channels on Skyblock Z where you can sell it directly to people who are Like, I have a bingo die, I want to sell it. And then, as for networking to other people, you can find cosmetic collectors if you're trying to sell a die, and then maybe talk to some people who are late game wanting to buy a talisman, and if you offer, oh, I'll sell it for like 40 million coins less than the auction house price, most people will usually take that deal. And it saves you the tax, gets you a guaranteed buyer, and on the buyer's end, it's beneficial because they can get it right now, and then they also get a huge discount on purchasing the item. That's also how I sell a lot of the pet skins, where if I'm going to have this pet skin that's worth hundreds of millions of coins, I'll be selling it to somebody on a discount compared to what it's like on the auction house. But I don't have to put it on the auction house and gamble and hope nobody undercuts me or hope that it sells. How easy is it to sell the bingo relic? In my experience back in the day, pretty easy. Nowadays, I feel like there's going to be a lot more competition, but here's my advice is, as a resident 1,000 bingo points holder, if we're speculating purely on hypotheticals here, if bingo comes out with a bingo rank 5 and an upgrade to the talisman, bingo heirloom in the future, it will cost maybe 250, or maybe it'll just be 200 bingo points, but it will require players to get a bingo rank upgrade. And most people don't want to play bingo. That's why the bingo talisman is so valuable and it sells so much to other players, is there's people who don't want to play bingo, and they will pay you to give them the item so they don't have to play it. They're not going to be able to upgrade their bingo relic to whatever the next tier is, and if you have the bingo rank to do so, you might be able to collect the item from somebody, upgrade it for them, and return it back to them for a huge profit. Right now, the 200 bingo points it takes you to get an artifact up to a relic, that's already netting you 450 million coins. I can only imagine all of the late game players who will be panicking to upgrade a talisman, and they won't have enough bingo points to get the next bingo rank, or maybe they're bingo rank 1, and they really just don't want to play bingo. They will pay you to do that for them, so that they can get max magical power, and they don't have to do the content. That's kind of what I was holding my bingo points for. It was either I was going to die a full set of armor for somebody when the bingo dies were soulbound, or I was just going to hope and pray that the talisman was going to come out. On some of the bingo discords, there was talk ages ago about potential, like, oh, here's what we're speculating on bingo stuff. And I think there was a lot of communication to the community, like, there might be something coming. And then I've been burned. It's about 1.5 years, and there is no update to bingo. There's no new bingo rank. We've just kind of had the same thing. So, guaranteed money, you want to do something with your profile right now? Buy this from the auction house, upgrade it, and sell it as a relic to make a lot of money. If you want to invest and hold on to bingo points like me, buy these from the auction house or collect them from other players. Try to upgrade it to a potential next level legendary talisman. Yeah. Yep. We are both the same. One and the same. Just holding on to the points. I think I will hold 1,000 points at a time. That's enough to make a lot of money. But probably when I get to, like, maybe this next bingo, I'll try doing the upgrade to get myself 450 million coins. I'll see how hard it is to sell the relic. Now that it is... We're about 2 years into bingo, or 3 years into bingo. How hard is it to sell a bingo relic this far in? And I can probably give people better answers on how hard it is to make bingo your money-making method. But my advice rings true. If you want to sell an item and you're giving people an insane enough discount, they will take that over going for the auction house, and it will save you a lot of time and effort. You're essentially lowballing yourself to another player. You're saying, I will sell you this item for cheaper. Alright. I've been rambling, and I have not been fueling up these minions. Let me go put the power crystal in, and send 100 mil into the void. But it's worth it, because I get my last collection. I get progress towards it. And this minion here is a tier 8. All of the other ones are tier 5. That's because to get the next tier of the Inferno minion, I need to sacrifice a tier 8 Inferno minion for some reason. I don't know why. That's just the crafting recipe, I guess. Alright. Yes, you do. There's a 30% skill XP buff, and there's a 20% or 20 magic find buff for all bingo players, regardless of your rank. What class would be easy to go for? My suggestion is go for the mage class, and you're going to want to use your ultimate ability in a room with a lot of mobs that whoever's carrying you isn't clearing out. So typically there will be rooms where the only goal is to kill like a mini boss, and then they'll just leave a ton of mobs behind. So your goal is to go into a room like that, activate your Thunderstorm ability on mage, and that will get you milestone 2 easily. Milestone 3 is a little bit harder to get, but you only need milestone 2 to open up the chest. Mage is by far the easiest one to get milestones on, because you can use the ability to get your goal, and it doesn't require any gear setup in order to be able to do that. Alright, I want to fuel up the composter. Should be exactly 21 to maximize that. And then oil barrel, I don't know, probably 40 or something. Need a little bit more. Good enough. And now to get the pests. Garden gameplay, indeed. I said that, oh, I don't think this will be the most interesting gameplay, but here we are, doing the garden. I can definitely talk a lot easier when I'm in the garden. I won't have much else that I need to focus on. If I was on Twitch, where the copyright policies are a little bit more lax, I could I could like become a YouTube or React streamer, where it's like, look at this video, I'm watching it on stream while I do the Hypixel garden. I don't know if, yeah, money does in fact go up, My goal is not money. It's for Skyblock XP. Getting crop milestones is helpful. And then I also am missing one of the new visitors from the mayor. And this will be, I think, the 4th time that I've had an opportunity to get it, and they still keep eluding me. I need to get the rhino. If I check the visitor logbook here. Never visited. The baker, I still need to get the fine flour in order to get this visitor. And then the rhino could visit at any time. And they haven't. I've gotten Maeve multiple times. I've rolled into a mythic visitor. I just haven't gotten the right one. As for visitor milestones, I should be able to get this very easily today on stream. And then crop milestones, I want to be going for melon. Get that next tier up. And then probably pushing for cactus, which won't be on stream, from my understanding. I don't know when the stream is going to end. As long as people are sticking around and enjoying their time here, I'm more than happy to keep the chill podcast vibes going. I'll answer questions and help people out with whatever tasks they need on bingo. I love being the bingo guide individual. It's nice to be able to help people. That's one of the things that I strive to do in Skyblock, is set people on the right path. It is a shame. I usually expect the... Oh. Need to adjust the speed. I usually expect the bingos to last for at least one more stream. This bingo was really quick compared to all of the recent ones that I've been doing. To be fair, though, the last bingo stream, I think I was doing a bingo challenge, which tasked me with doing a bunch of hard tasks that are above and beyond. So, no bingo stream was going to be comparable lengthwise to that. And again, I've got the notification at the top, Discord in the description. If you want to be notified for streams, you can click on the reaction roll, and you are able to get notified for future streams, giveaways, game shows, and I have a special role called Bounty Hunters, where if you are doing Master Mode dungeons, I have some armor pieces that I need to collect, and I will give you lots of coins. Hundreds of millions of coins if you find any of the armor pieces in a 50 of 50 quality that I am missing. There should be some information on how to hunt that if you select that role, and I think that it is a really good way for people who are progressed in the game and they just want to make a nice little bit of pocket change. Unfortunately, there is nothing for the regular tier dungeons. I'm only missing things from Master Mode at this point. There might be some opportunities in the future for bounty hunters to claim other tasks. Maybe some that are a little bit easier than Master Mode dungeons. Just getting a bunch of people's opinions of this. I have a lot of information on the screen thanks to Skyhanny. And I have heard some people say that this layout, all of these icons and information all over the place, is very overwhelming. Visually, is my stream very cluttered? Is that something that bothers anybody here? Or is it just kind of like, we're Skyblock players, we kind of understand the all the interfaces that people have up, especially for Garden. Because I could tone down some of these things. I don't need to know that the fly is the pest that I have selected. That's kind of obvious. But most of these other things are just kind of helpful to me, like, oh, is my composter running? That'd be good to know. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I noticed that we're up to 9 viewers. Welcome to the chat, all of the lurkers. I hope you're doing great. I'm surprised that Skyblock content gets this many people. I did not expect the main profile to be as interesting for people to stick around compared to the bingo profile. Do I want a rune? Yes, I would. Runes of any type, I'll take them. A bit of a sneaky tip for runecrafting XP. If you get the runecrafting, the dusk contact from the hub, you are able to runecraft anywhere you want. And if you equip a Bal Pet, especially before the update that they're pushing out to mining that's on the alpha right now, if you equip a Bal Pet in the magma fields, you are able to get a large amount of runecrafting XP from runes. I do that occasionally. I don't have a reason why I go for runecrafting, but you can see here, I do have a little bit of progress towards it, so. Suffering. Uh-oh. That's not good. Rune. Lightning rune. Let's go. I don't really enjoy them for the cosmetic of the rune being a thing. I enjoy it because legendaries give more experience. Adu, I'll have to swing by and pick up your chest of runes another time. I don't really have the inventory space to hold the runes at the moment. And since my magma fields method is going to be obliterated from the game, I don't entirely know. Like, I could just runecraft anywhere at any time. I guess runecrafting during Derpy would be the only good thing that I could do in order to increase my runecrafting XP. I have been nerfed. I won't be getting as much XP anymore. My one slight criticism towards the Skyhanny mod is it feels like whenever they update features, they come enabled on by default. So sometimes I have to hunt down what is enabled, and then I gotta shut it off. More runes? Oh, I'm gonna be rich. warp whenever you're ready. Well, let's go. Rune time. The Rainbow Rune. That one's a little special. And you can see I've got a bunch of runes in my sack. These upper tier runes are a bit hard to get. I keep every single T3 rune that I get, and I initially had a very silly goal of getting a stack of every single rune, but there's some runes that got added to the game, like the enchant rune from Enderman Slayer, which unfortunately was not something that is very feasible to do. And then music runes also got really expensive back in the day, so I just decided it was not worth going for a task like that. But I do like rune crafting XP. You emptied of 5 people out of runes? Okay. It sounds like I really need to pick up that runes chest then. I've got that fear, because I know that when I start, it is going to be, at least the next hour is going to be me picking up runes a do. So ideally, outside of stream time, I would love to pick up those runes. Just give me a little bit of a nudge reminder when you see me online next. I appreciate you getting a ton of runes for me. Seven double chests? The number keeps on going upwards. I don't know if I have enough stash space for that. Yeah. I vaguely remember the picture. Okay, so farming contests are not loading. Okay. It looks so clean at the start of the year. Okay. Here's what we can do. I go to your Discord messages. I say rune chest. And then if you mark that message as unread, the next time you open our DMs, because you'll see the notification, you'll see that there's a rune chest notification. And then I'll do the same. So we will both collectively see rune chest. Also, I believe, Querio, you signed up for the announcements notification, but the stream notification, the VHS tape, that's getting pinged when the streams start. I don't know if that was your intention for this. I want to make sure you're getting the pings that you want. And again, if I say anybody's name wrong, just feel free to correct me. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing everyone's IGN right. I know some people are very particular about that. We're up to 30 subscribers. That's decent channel progress. We might hit 100 subscribers at some point if I keep up with titling my streams Hypixel Skyblock something. Seems to pull in a decent amount of new viewers every single time. I always want to try to do something in my streams. For this, I'm just kind of advertising the Discord and making sure that people are aware, hey, I'm making a thing. Be sure to be here for that. This is very much like a put it on the background and forget about it kind of podcast stream. There's not a lot of visual stuff going on. I'm farming melons. I'm going row to row. It is not the most insightful and enlightening content. I would say that Bingo has a lot more variety towards it, and it's a lot better for streaming and MMO content. You don't even know how to pronounce your name. Okay, perfect. Most of the things that I will have to do for my main profile, if I ever stream on it, it's just very repetitive things where I would be doing it for long stretches of time. Dungeons for hours upon hours, Kudra for hours upon hours, farming. There's not much else that needs to be done. Yeah, if we just pop into levels real quick here. Hoppities. I plan on doing that a little bit today, just going around and collecting the rabbits. Core tasks. This is trophy fishing, which I'm going to be saving for Marina. Minions is upgrading that one minion up to T11, the Inferno minion. And then collections is just chili pepper. Dungeons, I already mentioned, repetitive task. Boss collections is just dungeons and Kudra. Bestiary is Crimson Isle mini bosses. I guess that's another repetitive grind I could do. We've got garden. We've got just the golden fish from trophy fishing. Miscellaneous tasks. I have to get Trinity from dungeons. That's more dungeons. Campfire. I don't think I'm ever doing that. And everything else is completed. That's the short list of what I have left to do in the game. It still equals out to be about 10 more levels off of maximum Skyblock level. I take breaks all the time. I usually find myself playing at least once a week pretty consistently, but more recently, over the last, since the start of 2024, I can sometimes take a break for maybe even over a week at a time. I go do other games, I go experience some other stuff. I program, so sometimes I'll try to make my own games, my own concepts. That's why I have a game show ping role in my Discord server. I might have a stream at one point if we get enough viewers, where I'll spin up a game of some kind and you guys can actually play something that isn't Skyblock, and that would be something new. I know that I've got some friends that could tune in for that, and I'm in some of the communities where people will make their own content, their own games like that, and they'll play each other's kind of game show, minigame experiences that they're making for each other. But I also would say that since the start of Skyblock, I have always set my mind to do something. As long as I have something to work on, my brain doesn't get bored. Be that, oh, I've got to max my accessory bag. I have to get this next level of blaze. I also try to set small goals, because if I look at the big picture, like if I were to just set the simple goal of get max Skyblock XP, my brain would be so fractured. Like I wouldn't know what to do or where to go with that. But if I set something that I can accomplish, maybe in like a couple weeks, well then I've got a checkpoint. set the goal of doing 100k Blaze Slayer XP in a week. Well, I can do that. That's pretty easy. I'm going to do this amount per day, and if I don't feel like doing it, I can come back to it at another point. But if my goal was to get Blaze 9, that is... It takes a lot of energy out of me, especially since I don't know when I would be able to get that done. It's a lot harder to plan around a bigger goal. I do have higher level goals. Like, one of my goals is I want to get one of every item in the game. I want to get one of every 50 out of 50 quality dungeon item from each floor. I want to get a bunch of rune crafting XP. I just set a bunch of those tinier goals for myself where I get to have fun along the way. I get to do what I want to do. Skyblock is a game where you will run out of things that the game will tell you to do pretty quickly. You'll get all the items that you want, and the skill ceiling, the cost of getting whatever your next item will be, could be hundreds of millions of coins. And it can feel so far out of reach. And that causes a lot of people to leave. The people who stay past the initial chaos of no tutorial and a bunch of things being thrown at you right away in Skyblock. I think that one of the biggest problems Skyblock has right now is it doesn't have a tutorial. You kind of get thrown in the deep end, and good luck figuring out what to do from there. There's 12 villagers in the hub? Oh, where are they? Who knows? And they give some, like, vague hints. I think anybody who follows through Skyblock content into the late game, you're either looking towards content creators or you have a network of friends that are kind of helping you to understand the world around you. Because Skyblock is very different from regular Minecraft. Oh yeah. I definitely agree with that dungeons hate that you're talking about there. I might be nearly maxed at the game, but I still haven't hit Catacombs 50 yet. That's how much I dislike dungeons as a piece of content, as a concept. It's not something that really interests me. And because it's not something that interests me, I put it off. I wait, I do it with friends, I'm in no rush to complete the content, and it will always be there tomorrow. That's the best part about Skyblock. It's not one of those servers where you have to worry about, oh, the game is going to reset. It's a persistent game. It feels like it's always going to be there. And because of that, you can kind of count on coming back to something you don't want to do now, and you can do it later. Bingo is fun. It's variable content. It starts to get a little bit stale. I've done every single bingo, so at this point it feels very repetitive. But for someone who's got a mid-game or a late-game profile, bingo takes you back towards the start of the game. I think someone who's in the early game, who just went through all those early game tasks, bingo doesn't make a lot of sense for them to do. Because they've already experienced that content. They have... It hasn't really hit the phase of nostalgia yet. Okay. Yeah, take a Hollow Knight break. That's another thing, is I try not to sit down in front of the computer for long stretches of time. That's why my streams, they tend to cut off at like the 4-hour mark. I want to take a break. I want to spend time with my family, my cat. Stretch around, get something to eat. I think one of the traps that a lot of people fall into, especially when playing video games, is they get stuck in one place for a long period of time. And that can be exhausting. It can also make the quality of the game that you're playing less enjoyable. If you're doing some repetitive content and it's challenging and you might be failing a couple of times, like you just kind of get stuck. And clearing your head, walking away, be that with another video game, or my advice is to kind of like walk away from the computer. You can kind of come back with a fresh set of eyes. Yeah, Aquario, back in the day, there was a mini game that I used to play, which was Hunger Games, but you started playing survival Minecraft, you were going from scratch, you had like 10 minutes to gear up, and you were just doing survival PvP from the start of the game. That was amazing. There were no chests, there was no loot, you just played a game of Minecraft. And you could set up some traps, you could rush trying to get iron armor. That's my favorite kind of minigame, where you're starting from zero, and each experience is just a little bit different each time. And Bingo brings me that, but for the Skyblock gameplay. And yeah, learning strategies, passing those strategies on to another person. I think that you've got a really deep understanding of the game, and that understanding is even better than mine. I would say, like, the original map of the walls is what I would compare that to. But it's not even that. Like, you had vanilla Minecraft terrain, and everyone was able to occupy, like, the same terrain as everyone else. You had invincibility, like, you weren't able to hit other players for the first 10 minutes. I would say more like UHC without the no health regeneration. Exactly like UHC, actually. Just without the rampant cheating that happens on Hypixel. It'd be like a game of 20 people. I remember the server back in the day. It was called Red Warfare. And there were 3 different game modes that I primarily played on there. There was a defusal game, which was kind of like a set off the bomb, and there were kits with that. There was the Hunger Games, which was just playing default survival Minecraft, kind of like UHC, but with health regeneration. And then there was a custom map version of the Hunger Games, where you would like learn all of these secret rooms. You would learn like, oh, there's iron blocks here, I can get a lot of gear really quick. Yeah, not a lot of tryhards back in the day. Like, you could have a casual Minecraft experience, and I was playing like as a teenager, not really trying to be a professional Minecraft PvP sweat. And I think that that was a perfect environment. I got to strategize, I got to make some traps. Welcome back. I'm just kind of reminiscing nostalgic for the old Minecraft days of the various things I used to play. It's really nice. And I think that there's plenty of new experiences that people are going to have, which are a lot more competitive. I think that's kind of how video games in general have become. Even what I would consider the casual Minecraft servers of today, like the MCC Island, or whatever it's called, or CubeCraft, or places like that, have also become competitive in a way which, like, the Java player base has matured, and because of that, a lot of those competitive environments have kind of become a lot more harsh for newer players. I would say that Bedrock PvP is kind of like the modern equivalent of what PvP used to be like back in the day. A lot of the Bedrock players, they're playing on a variety of different platforms, tablets, phones, some of them on computers, and they're able to... They exhibit a wide variety of skill sets. There are Bedrock sweats that exist out there, but most of the Bedrock servers, when I play them, I find very casual PvP experiences there, compared to Hypixel Java. That's great to hear. I think a lot of the subscribers that I'm cultivating right now, they're coming from Hypixel Skyblock, and if I put something else in the title that isn't Hypixel Skyblock, it would be really hard to reach new viewers. But once I have a consistent viewer base, coming up with the coding data pack, that kind of stuff, I would be happy to share in that on the stream again. I think that was really fun for me back in the day too. A lot of the time I'm just doing that offline at this point. And it's also very easy for me to get distracted when I'm not streaming to other people. I think that streaming keeps me accountable when it comes to doing the task at hand. I can very easily get distracted, maybe put on a YouTube video and spend more time on the YouTube video than I would doing the thing in block game. Or if I'm coding, a lot of the time it becomes, oh, I'm working on programming this thing, I want to make this thing, and then I insist that I need to have a build done. And then I start building, and it becomes like a building activity rather than a coding activity. Ooh, carrot contest. Carrot, melon, what else? You're not really telling me. So we're going to do Hoppities real quick. Activate the time tower, grab out the egg locator. And just pick up all of the eggs around here. The goal, of course, is to get the very rare chance of getting a divine, and also good luck getting a divine. Very unlikely that you're going to be able to get one. But you need to do it and get all 5 uniques in order to get max Skyblock XP. So it's worth attending these every once in a while. Let's see, because the calendar isn't showing me the farming contests. I know that it's carrot, melon, but I want to see what the third option is. Pumpkin. I'll swap over to carrots, might as well. I need carrots for some stuff. The crops on the thumbnail for this stream, by the way, no relation to what I planned on farming today. Melon, sure, I wanted to get the milestone for that, but I'm definitely not touching wheat farming ever, and I didn't plan on carrot farming. It's kind of an accident of sorts. Oh. Cosmetic garden level 33. Yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back to live. I think that YouTube is really good for people who are viewing casually. Like, you can come back, you can watch the VOD, you can pause the live stream and watch at your own pace. I cannot attest for how good or bad I would sound, but what I personally like to do is watch in 1.5 speed if I need to pause and go do something for a little bit. If I've got a streamer who I'm kind of watching live, I'll pause and come back to whatever content they're doing. And carrot time. So what I'm realizing now with my pest vacuum is every 200 pests, I think it's 200 per. It might even be less than that. But I'm gonna need to farm for at least 11 more hours in order to use all the pests in my bag, and probably even if I farmed for those 11 hours, I'm not going to be getting all of the pests consumed this bingo, or this Finnegan mare. So it is very important that I consume the pest hunter Phillip bonus to get the extra farming fortune, because one of the mare perks makes that last for a full hour, and it is definitely worth having that always on while I am farming at all times. How long have I been live streaming for? That's another good thing about having a Discord server where I drop notifications for streams. I'm able to actually look when I put out the stream announcement, and then that kind of tells me tentatively here, how long have I been streaming for? The answer is almost 2 hours now. In about 15 minutes it'll be 2 hours. At a minimum, I think a stream should be 2 hours. There's no set length that it needs to be. And then YouTube hard caps a live stream VOD at 12 hours. So you have to stop streaming and then start the stream again. Otherwise the video won't be replayable for people. And that is one of the whole reasons that I'm doing this. I have a couple people who want to have videos that they can watch after the fact of me just kind of talking, having a little podcast here. So if the video goes over 12 hours, then only the people who watched live are able to view that. It's one of YouTube's limitations. I have no clue how VODs work on Twitch. If I start multicasting, or if I start streaming on Twitch. I know that Twitch is a lot easier to discover newer people compared to YouTube streams. Afano had a comment yesterday that was very ominous. Like, he has his ways of figuring out YouTube streamers. I imagine a lot of people, they'll come to my stream for the first time because they see Hypixel Skyblock in the title. It's got one of those keywords. Not all of my streams will have the keywords that people are looking for, though. And in order to grow a viewer base who is going to watch a variety of my content, I have to kind of keep them here with the personality, hopefully get them to subscribe or follow or whatever the platform equivalent of that is. And then hopefully they'll stick around for when I do a game show or when I do a coding stream. And I recognize that not every single live stream type will be for everybody, but the general theme of my content will stay around Skyblock or Minecraft in general, like sandbox games. I don't ever see myself going, and there are some other video games that I play, but I don't think that it would make for as interesting stream content. And some of those games are also very graphic intensive, and I want to make sure the stream is like good quality. I know right now the audio leaves a little bit to be desired compared to your professional streamer with the like compressor on the mic and no static in the background, less echo, less pops with the whenever they say a word that starts with P. But I try to keep the stream to a certain level of quality for people that are watching it back, and while Garden might not need 720p 60 fps minimum quality, most content in this game I want it to be viewable for anyone who's watching VOD or live. And I think that if I boot up something that is causing my computer to lose frames on the game already, the live stream experience won't be much better. So I need to upgrade my computer, my actual gaming setup, before I'm able to start streaming something that might branch outside of Minecraft or some low resolution gameplay. Right now I'm making good progress into the carrot contest. I know that I started a little bit late. With the Hoppities contest, if you collect the eggs every 20 minutes, you'll be able to get a full set of 3. So if I collect right after the farming contest ends, I'll be keeping 100% uptime, collecting all of my Hoppity eggs, and that's the goal. I will admit there are some things in this game that I have done that I would consider to be very unhealthy. One of which was Hoppity. I got into the top 10 leaderboard placements for Hoppity at one point, and the sacrifices that I had to make for that includes sleep, a regular eating and hydration schedule. Yeah. So Hoppities, it lasts for 30 hours and you can collect the eggs every 20 minutes. So the sleep schedule that I gave for myself was I would allow myself 3 hours of sleep within that 30-hour window, and I would be collecting every single egg possible. I wouldn't just be playing Minecraft, I was doing a bunch of other stuff on the side as well, but Hoppities took the energy and the soul out of me, and it is not something that I intend on repeating. I think Hoppities is really bad as general content for this game because it requires so much RNG in order to complete it. Every other piece of sorry about that. Every other piece of content in this game has a finite endpoint. Even Trophy Fish, which is the RNG content of this game, you stop at some point. Hoppities just keeps on going. Night Libra is number 1. Night Libra is also a bingo sweat. I fear the power of Night Libra. Night Libra has been in contention with a number of other people, but every single Hoppity, they stay up all 30 hours, they don't sleep, they start out like they're talking in the Discord, they're interacting with other people doing Hoppity, and then at the end they're just responding with reaction emojis like their brain isn't even able to form words. I fear for their health. Yeah. Hoppity needs some sort of pity system for it. It needs some sort of safety net to stop people from grinding hundreds of hours at a time. Because in the late game of Skyblock, that's the only thing that these people have left. It's just, they need to collect the funny rabbit. I also have a limit on how much I can stay awake, and there are certain things that I will have to do in my life, like, oh, I have to pull a late nighter so that I can do this, or I am going to get home late because I'm out with family for the entire day. I will get exhausted, and my ability to speak like this, it just goes out the window. So in the future, if I do decide to stream, there might be like I'll find some royalty-free music, I'll put that on in the background, and it might be like a silent stream, or I'll make like mumbles every once in a while. Right now, the goal is to have podcast, I'm speaking all the time, and I will try to make every single bingo that kind of comfort, that kind of nice vibe where people are able to exist. Any other stream outside of the bingo streams is kind of a gambit on what you're going to get. This time you got a garden stream. I'm punching carrots for long periods of time and talking. Answering questions in chat, whatever people want help on their profile or questions on bingo, I'm more than happy to. I don't know why I did hub. That was the wrong warp. I make no promises on how much energy I will have for any other stream at any other point in the month. Consider it a wild card, what pops up outside of the bingo streams. That's the only thing I'm really scheduling. And bingo streams will take place on the first of every single month. That is universal across the board. Midnight Eastern is when bingo opens up and starts. You can convert that to whatever time zone you're in. I will usually be at least an hour late to every single bingo. The goal of which is to, at the start of bingo, it is really hard to get into and start a profile. So I just give it an hour. I'm not competing with as many people for wheat in the hubs, as many people for gold. It's worth it to start an hour late to bingo, in my opinion. And that's usually when you'll see the stream start. My co-op, or in this case, I brew the splashes and my co-op splashes them on me. We are a splasher for bingo. It's a way of giving people every single potion effect in the game. And if you just tune into the stream every once in a while, usually at the start of the stream, there will be a hub that we're going to be going to. I can make it a thing where if people want to have a guaranteed splash, I can advertise it in the stream first, and then people can go to that hub and get the splash that they need. I think that's a perfectly fine service. And typically I'm only going to be splashing at the start of the stream unless I have some other friend who is doing bingo with me. In the past, I've had people who I kind of have as like a bingo apprentice, where I'm giving them a guide step by step on what they need to do for bingo and trying to help them through the entire card. If you see one of those people, they will likely be suffering a lot more than your typical Skyblock player. I'm kind of roping them along for the ride, and they might not even be a Skyblock player. They'll just be here for the sake of wanting to do the content. I recognize that my garden visitors are about to fill up. I'm going to get to the end of this row, and then I will claim the visitors. Every other place in my farm is iron trapdoors, but I made a custom modification to the start of my farm to put wooden trapdoors so that I can access individual layers as I need to. It is very helpful to do that. It's also very funny, the scoreboard is running out of space to show the digits. So I have over 1 million collection in carrots, and it's just showing one digit from the hundreds place. Elixir has a cooldown. I believe it's once every 5 minutes or once every 10 minutes. The potions should last you for an hour. That shouldn't be an issue for you. But it does have a cooldown, so that's what your problem would be. Plot TP 3. So I have the third plot. I have a box next to my visitors. It's just really quick access to get to the start of my farm and make sure that everybody is collected. And then I go warp garden. And then if I open this wooden trap door, close it up, I'm back at where I was supposed to be in my farm. Super efficient. I don't think I'm hitting diamond bracket because, again, I started the carrots a little bit late. I wanted to collect my rabbits. But overall, I am happy with the progress. Over 1,000,000 carrots in a single contest is pretty good for my crop milestone progress. Unfortunately, it is still hundreds upon hundreds of hours that I will have to farm in the garden, and I cannot see myself being a full-time garden streamer. This is probably something where I crack open a Netflix movie or a Netflix TV series even on the side. That's probably what I'll be doing after the stream, and I'll just be farming. It's really hard to keep up commentary and have good content in the garden unless I'm rambling on about something or some other thing about my profile. Giving some life story or advice to another person, that kind of thing. But as for like commentating on what I'm doing, I'm farming carrots. Oh, slash playtime. Nearly 20k hours played in the game. If I click on the detailed breakdown of that, most of that, over half of it, is AFK on my private island. But it's also not much better that I have hundreds of hours in other places on Skyblock. Over 1,000 hours on the Crystal Hollows. I do a little bit of mining, you see. And then, unfortunately, the dungeon hub, waiting for dungeons to start. Nearly 500 hours waiting for team. So, I do a little bit of playing on Skyblock. Most of which on the private island is AFK, but I also had vertical farms there. And then I would be farming just like this, and then I would be watching a college lecture where I would have most of my screen dedicated to the college lecture and the chat, and then I would have a tiny window open for Skyblock so that it was open and focused so that I was actually able to progress my profile even while I was... Yeah, I think I was very addicted to Skyblock back in the day. But again, nowadays I find myself maybe playing for 3 to 4 hours a day, and then sometimes I'll play for longer stints of time if it's like a bingo or if there's some mayor that I need. But like over Scorpius, I didn't need a single thing from Dark Auction, there's no minister, and I just quit the game for the entire duration of Scorpius Mayor until something else came back. And as I complete more and more content from the game, like once I get done with Garden, whenever Finnegan comes around, I'll probably just quit the game while Finnegan is around. As you can see on the leaderboard for Hoppities, I'm within the top 100 still. Nowhere close to the top 10, but I'm happy that I hit the top 10 at one point. Yeah, Aquario, I also watched a lot of movies and TV while I was trophy fishing. Trophy fishing is another one of those mind off, don't have to worry too much about the content in front of you activities. Unfortunately, there's a lot of other things which are more podcast activities in this game. I would say foraging is one of those, where you kind of have to pay attention to the trees ahead of you, so you can listen to something, like this stream, for example. You can listen to it, but you might not be able to focus on watching it. I also think that it's indicative of game design that is really bad if you are able to watch a TV show and give it nearly your full attention while doing some other piece of content. If the content becomes the side quest at that point, it is really bad. I think most of the content that people complain about falls into that category. People don't like the garden because it doesn't take a lot of their attention, because it doesn't require a lot of effort to do. Adieu. I might have trouble reading sarcastic cues through text, but even I can tell that that is sarcastic. What mods am I using? Well, the core mods that I use are Skyblock add-ons and not enough updates. I have one profile where I use Skyblock extras, like mod profiles is what I'm talking about. And then specifically for when I'm in the garden, I disable Skyblock extras and I enable Sky Hanny. I also have some side mods. If I go to mod options, you can probably see here. Sky Annie, Skyblock Extras is disabled. Skyblock add-ons. Scrollable tooltips just allows me to, like, show off an item if it has a long amount of lore on it. Uh-oh. Whoa. What the heck? Uh-oh. Hello? That was a little concerning. Mod options. As I was saying, Patcher helps with performance, kind of like Optifine. Autotip is something that I use to get a lot of Hypixel levels. And then all of these are just libraries that come pre-installed. Yeah. Suffering indeed. My trophy fishing journey was pretty good. Moldfin I nearly had to pity. Obfuscated 3 I had to pity, but most of the other trophy fish have been treating me well. I have unfortunately gotten the bad luck on golden fish, which I think is one of the worst things to get bad luck on, but I'm also likely to complete golden fish before maxing lava fishing bestiary, so it's worth it at the end of the day if I'm group fishing with other people. I'll hit my golden fish and max bestiary around the same time. If I have to pity golden fish, that is. I'm at about 800 golden fish caught, and it's 1,000 to get the guaranteed diamond trophy fish. And it's the last one I need. I think the disconnect that happened there was some internet hiccup. And then it didn't technically log me out of Hypixel, so that's why I got the "you have disconnected" message. Yeah, I think you have a co-op curse of some kind to do. One of my friends has a very weird set of luck that they've got, where the most common drops that you would expect to get, like a smoldering book from the blazes in the cave, they're just not able to drop it, and it's supposed to be like a 1% drop chance. But then they get crazy luck in some areas of the game, like they'll drop an aquamarine die. So, I don't know why, but the luck in this game seems to treat people, some of them very favorably compared to others. I find that my luck is really good when it comes to new content in the game. If I'm grinding out the new content and there's some sort of drop that I should be going for, it does not take me that long to get it. Like, I got my handle really quickly when I was doing Floor 7s when that released. Off the top of my head, the mining content, I got quite a few things off of the corpses quite quickly. And I made a lot of money off of that. Yeah, Badlion Client does help with a lot of performance things. I would say that latest version Minecraft, getting stuff like the sodium and all of the other, like, lithium, that kind of stuff, where you're enhancing the performance of your Minecraft game. I think 1.20 can be de-bloated to the point of actually running better than 1.8 for some people. And then 1.8 is really good for startup times because there's not a lot of content in the game that has to be loaded. Like, it's very efficient loading up a 1.8 vanilla instance or a 1.8 Optifine instance. And then the more mods you're adding to the game, the more performance that you're going to lose. I find that Skyblock Extras drops the performance of my game significantly. Chat triggers, I'm going below 60 FPS if I have chat triggers enabled. Unfortunately, I don't like chat triggers. Oh yeah, I got a Godroll lava shell as well. When I was starting out the Cooter content, I was like, I gotta get a lava shell necklace. I crafted a bunch of them, and I accidentally stumbled across the Godroll. You'll get there eventually, you do. Or you complete all your talismans and then you leave the game. That also works. Upcoming contest is cactus, cocoa beans, and wheat. I'm gonna do cactus, even if it's not the main thing that I should be doing. Yeah, I have heard great things about 1.20. And I'm really excited for the foraging update because of those performance mods. I think it would be very interesting if I start making a client-side Minecraft mod to fill the gaps of what mods don't exist in 1.20 right now. So like when foraging releases, like Skyblock add-ons has reached end of life. What do people use Skyblock add-ons for? Well, for me, it's the health and mana bars right now. And even the health bar is broken because they added commas to the health bars right now. So what's happening is it's taking whatever last health I had before 1,000, and it's putting it there. And then the thing that has the comma at the top there, that's not actually getting registered as my health right now, when it should be. And Skyblock add-ons is never going to come out with an update to fix that. Other mods have to fix the comma for Skyblock add-ons. And then with 1.20, people won't have that at all. So does that get ported into Skyhanny? Is that something that like Skyblock Extras is going to come out with a patch for? We don't know. From my understanding, there are mods that would be in development for 1.20 that should be ready to release. I know Skyblock Extras will likely come out with a port, and NEU will probably come out with a port of some kind as well. I'm unsure what's happening with Skyhanny, but there's a lot of active development with that mod, so I'd say that's probably coming too. There are some mods that have reached end of life, though, like some dungeon secret mods. I know they haven't been updated in ages, and there's no guarantee that people are going to have the mods that they would want to kind of fill out their 1.20 profile. Especially since 1.20, in order to get the most out of it, you're typically switching over to Fabric rather than Forge. So people who are working with Forge mods right now, the likelihood of them being ported over to 1.20 Fabric is even lower. And that's where a lot of the performance is. Yeah. Well, you don't know what kind of roadblocks are going to come up with 1.20 Hypixel. You also don't know, are they going to release on the 1.20 version? Are they going to release on 1.20.1? Is it going to get to the point of 1.20.2 or 1.21, 1.22? Like, we don't know what version Hypixel is going to be pushing the forging update out to. And they're likely going to want to make the Fabric or Forge mods that they're updating for latest version work with that. And I think a lot of them are going to be familiar with Forge, doing that 1.8 development, and they're not going to switch over to the Fabric loader, which is what a lot of the performance gains that you get for 1.20, they come from launching things and having things on Fabric client side. So I'm a little concerned. I also know that if I make a mod for Fabric and everybody else is still on 1.20 Forge, then my mod likely won't be as useful to those people. But if I am the only person who's developing for Fabric in this situation, well then those who want to run Fabric rather than Forge, they'll get a lot more utility, a lot more mileage out of modification like that. There is a consideration that you would need to make there. I personally think that going for a Fabric release of essential mod features would be really helpful for the community. Stuff like solvers, stuff like the health bars. Essentially, like, most mod packs have some equivalent of those things. Most mod profiles for Skyblock have those things. Most players switch to Fabric, but what are the mod developers working on? Because the libraries that they're going to be familiar with are in Forge right now. They're not in Fabric. I don't know for sure whether the mods are going to release with Forge or with Fabric support. And I think that Fabric would be a lot better for the developers. Or a lot better for the players, but the developers are not going to be as familiar with it. Yeah, exactly. A mess indeed. And I don't think that there's going to be a single mod that is going to be able to fix everything. You're always going to have some features that are missing, or some features that you would desire that a mod might not be able to support. And then someone else will come along, and if that feature is in high demand for the community, they'll step up and they'll make some equivalent of it. I think that the biggest loss that we're going to have in the community, feature-wise, is the Skyblock add-ons, because it has reached end of life, and I think that it is something that a large amount of people use for their Skyblock mod profiles. Yeah. Ooh, another tightly tied hay bale. Let's go. I've gotten 2 today already. Yeah. Just gathering some opinions on chat. What do we think of a roguelike dungeon? Something where you might be able to choose some sort of buffs or some sort of difficulty at the start of the dungeon, and you're not really going in with a ton of gear prepared, kind of like how current dungeons work. New experience every time would be the goal. Something that doesn't always focus you on getting secrets, or always focus you on blood rushing to get the clear. Is the comfort of dungeons for the people who play it, is that the repetition and the similar things that you have to do every single time? Or would a varied experience that would have a higher skill ceiling be much more interesting? I know that I have a very small sample size in chat, but if anyone has any opinions on that, I think that roguelike dungeon, some sort of concept that differs from the current catacombs that we have for one of the other 2 rooms, would be very interesting. We've got like a desert-themed dungeon and a jungle-themed dungeon. Time to collect rabbits. I just remembered that train of thought because you mentioned roguelike, and I think that a way to make a dungeon better would to be having a roguelike experience of some kind. It's not just about taking out the gear component from dungeons, though. I think that progression in the game is something that people value. But I think that always having the best gear in dungeons right off the bat makes a lot of the potential for new concepts really trivial. Like if you are having you enter the dungeon and you're able to use your Witherblade. Well, most things don't really stand a chance against you. But if you had to choose between your armor for survivability and a weapon that you already have, maybe you can pick one of those things and turn you in. Yeah, that would be the goal. I think that they have been releasing a lot of quality of life updates to existing content to make it better. The mining update that we are getting on Alpha is a great example of that, where they are definitely changing a lot of fundamental concepts of the game. They're uprooting things like the Gemstone Gauntlet, but I believe that they have a deep understanding of some of the flaws in the game, and they're even able to go against the general consensus of the players in order to make something that overall is better for the health of the game. It's not just an understanding of the players and the communication that's happening there. They're also doing great at like easing the concern of other players, like, oh, my money making method is ruined. Oh, this makes too much money now. They're listening and they're updating because of that. But they're also coming out with content which helps out that early game player base. The massive amount of powder that you can get from mining events now helps the early game progression of mining out so much. Going back to the roguelike dungeons, one of the games that I play has a roguelike combat system, and you are able, you have different characters that you're building. You might have a support character, a combat character, and you might have a healer of some kind. So let's say that you have gear, and gear is replacing the characters in this sense. You are able to select a full loadout, and you're able to choose one item that you take with you guaranteed at the start of the dungeon. For most people, this will be their weapon, but if you have multiple people running a dungeon, you'd have some people that take a support thing. A tank would probably pick an armor's piece or something. Mage would pick their main mage weapon. And you're able to build not just off of the stats, because blessings just give you stats right now, but you're also able to build your character back up in dungeons, and you would have to make decisions like, I want to get this armor piece back, but also enemies will become 5% stronger in dungeons, or boss attacks will deal more damage to me. And then it becomes a thing where you're constantly making decisions in the dungeon, and if there's a large variety of gameplay and decisions that players have to make, it can lead to this unique experience every single time. I might make like a YouTube video kind of talking about this. I've got a big idea. Yeah. I also think that catacombs as a concept should not be something that gives you advantages in other dungeons. Your Wither Blade should be best in slot for catacombs, but it likely should not help you a huge amount in the desert or the jungle dungeon when they release. Yeah. More paths that a player could take to progress in dungeons, and decisions that you have to make which could either benefit or hinder the player. And if I do make that video, I will come up with like some examples of that kind of content in other games, because I'm thinking of a lot of different examples off the top of my head. A general how is life question from Afana there. Life is good. I'm a little sleepy. I feel like my brain is racing a mile a minute, but that's a good thing. Like, I'm coming up with content, I'm having a good time right now. Life is good. Another concept that I want to throw out there is verticality in dungeons. The Blaze Slayer puzzle is an example of something that can go up very high in dungeons or down very low. But most of the dungeons content that you are participating in is a very flat two-dimensional plane of content. I think that it is very fitting for a jungle dungeon to have a main layer, some tunnels layer below it, and a canopy layer up above. So you get that third dimension of gameplay within dungeons. Yeah. So, to access those canopy layers, ideally you wouldn't need to have stuff like teleporting items to go up and down. And it would be a thing where maybe there is... like, you go one direction to go down, but it becomes really challenging to go back up from that point. Likewise, it can be really easy to go up, but you have to find a different location in the dungeon to go back down. That requires a deeper understanding of movement throughout the dungeon, and something like that could take the place of secrets within the dungeon, because right now the skill ceiling for dungeons is how can I move around to these preset rooms and complete the secret content. You have to 100% all the secrets. I think that's another frustrating thing for people, is you have to do the same task over and over and over again. It would be so much better if maybe if you did more exploration in the dungeon, or the time sunk into dungeons came from a different kind of puzzle, like an environmental puzzle, rather than, oh, here's all of these secret routes, I've memorized them, let's go to point A, B, and C, and then we're done. The Roblox game with mini classes and 3 lives. Soul Point Skill Tree Future Run, yes. That could be very helpful. Another concept that I've seen in boss fights specifically for games is the first time you run the boss, it's super easy. But then there's different modifiers that you can put on the boss in order to make it more challenging, and then you get better rewards from that boss as well. You can choose your skill level. Like, do you want the boss to have more health? Do you want the boss to have higher damage? Better movement speed? In dungeons, I could see this as, of course, you would get more health, more damage, that kind of stuff, but also you could have varied abilities of some kind, where maybe in this fight, the Professor boss, when combining all the Guardians together, has a different final form compared to when you normally run. So now that becomes exciting, like, oh, I got the rare Professor Dungeon fight. Skill tree for bingo would be fun. I think bingo has a lot of options as well. I'd want to... yeah. Is it a forums post that you made for the bingo skill tree? I'd be happy to take a look at it if there's a link to it on forums. I could probably search you up on forums and find it if you posted it there. Yeah, the Rift bosses are a lot better suited to be group content, in my opinion. The Bhakti is really good for that group content fight experience. And it's a shame that they put so much effort making Bhakti that fun experience for people to do, because one, it's really hard to get group content, so you're usually doing it solo or maybe with a second person at best. And you don't have to do it that many times. You get the stuff you need for Vampire Slayer, and then you don't really need to do back day anymore in the future. Well, Querio, if you have a concept, you can feel free to direct message me. I'm in the Discord server, link in the description. I saw that you're there as well. I would love to see the concept for the skill tree that you're talking about. I think that would be amazing. Hey Rui, welcome to the stream. I've got a Discord link in description. You might already be there. It's the old Bounty Hunter Discord server that I had. I've repurposed it to be my new stream Discord server. So you can grab the reaction roll, get notified of future streams, and I'll be streaming the start of every single month, consistently. And I might stream randomly throughout the month. Like right now, this is me main profile gardening, talking about different dungeons, concepts, and various things that we might want to see added to the game. Perfect. So under reaction rolls, you can pick up whatever rolls you want. I finally made the server and developed it after having it for like 4 years and saying, I'm going to update the server soon. I finally did it. But yeah, making a video equivalent of my suggestions sounds like a very good idea. I think that's a good piece of original content that would make me stand out compared to a lot of the Skyblock content that exists right now. Of course. Sounds good. And I'd be happy to provide suggestions, and potentially in the future there might be some ways to get more eyes on it. I would say the suggestions form on Hypixel, after you get enough people viewing your suggestion, like refining it behind closed doors, posting it there is a perfect way to get a lot of eyes on your work. Most things on forums, if you give them a little push, they'll end up getting a lot of engagement. And sometimes that push is just like, I'm on stream and I'll say, hey, Courier has posted a post to the forums, and they have a suggestion for dungeons, or they have a suggestion for bingo. Go take a look at it. And then that gets you a couple upvotes, and usually that gets even more people viewing the post for the first time, and there you go. You've got a successful forum suggestion. Yeah. I think Hypixel's really bad at designing gear that is useful at the end stage of the game. A lot of the things are either best in slot and then they get replaced and there's no reason to get them anymore, Like, diver's armor is a good example of this. There's no reason to get diver's armor. Or, in some cases, they just remain a stepping stone. Like, shark armor is something that you would get while you are working to get thunder armor. Back in the day, getting the hay bales and getting farm armor, that might have been something worth doing. But in present day, getting those enchanted hay bales, crafting a full set of farm armor, you're doing that for museum at best. No, I wouldn't say that it's stream abusing. I'm just advertising something that I would believe in, or something that I made. If I'm going to be working with you, it'd be like, here's this thing, I gave some suggestions, I agree with the vision, go take a look at it. And that would be like, especially towards the end of stream, I know that that's a lot of the ways that people would direct people kind of away from the YouTube broadcast. They would say, hey, I uploaded a video on my channel, go check it out. That's one of the ways that you can kind of get some additional viewership, because people will be kind of searching for the next thing. Oh, grinding revenants is, it takes a while. The good news is the revenants can kind of make you a little bit of money back if you get some of the good drops from them, at least. It's not completely pointless. I'll need to note that down, though. I think a really good video content, putting that out there, would be editing a suggestion just off the top of my head for different areas of the game, comparing it to other games that I play or other games that exist out there, and seeing what those games do right and how that could work in Skyblock. Unfortunate that Foul Flesh is the only good drop. I want to farm cactus. Warp gold. Is that the armor set that oh no, it's the Starlight armor set. I thought that they were wearing one of the zombie lord armor sets. That would be really funny to see. Lot DP3. This pest wrangler really likes showing up, taking all my cheese. I'm gonna run out of cheese in my sack soon enough. Alright, so oh, there you go. Speed for this is 464. And then I gotta really make sure that I don't move my mouse at all during this. Otherwise I'm going to hug a cactus. Cactus is one of the better things to do a contest in if you get a farm set up for it. The actual cactus knife itself doesn't have a lot of upgrades, so you can get the best in slot tool pretty easily. And then it's not very competitive getting into cactus for bronze, or even getting into diamonds is one of the easiest ones to push into. I think it's because a lot of the high level people, they really don't like cactus. Nope, 464 speed is what I've found to be optimal. I could do 500, but I find myself missing cacti, and my farm is not big enough for complete regrowth before 500. Like, when I get to the end and start at the beginning if I'm going 500 speed. So, 464 speed. I saw it in a Melon King farm setup. That's what most of these are based off of, is one of the older Melon King farms. So, I presume that that person knows a little bit more than I would about farm speeds and setting up farms. I'm more than happy to rebuild my cactus farm at some point, though. It will be one of the crops that I'll be grinding even after all the other ones are done. Yeah, if you look at my milestones here, cactus is pretty low compared to all of the other ones. It'll be wheat that I get done with first. I'm also wondering, is this overpowering the sound of my voice? 1 second. Nope. I just had to check the audio, make sure that the dings of the cactus were not overpowering my voice. I was a little concerned. I feel like cactus is one of the noisiest crops to farm, aside from stuff like carrot and wheat. You're breaking so many blocks. Have I done a spaceman? Unfortunately, my one spaceman that's here is the one that I've been chipping away at this entire time. Spaceman is red mushroom, and he's about halfway done right now. I could probably buy out the spaceman with the profits that I get from other crops, but most of my crop profits, they go towards visitors at this point, and I'll place like 100 mil buy order for mushrooms every couple months or so, just chipping away at it. I'll get there eventually. Yeah, Fidget's on my server. I don't think that he wants to actively be staff on the server, so I might redistribute the hierarchy there for people that I know and trust. I could put them as staff, and maybe Fidget doesn't want to be staff anymore. The server's not perfect. I know that some of the bounty channels are open to the public when they should be locked behind the bounty roll. But for the intent of getting the server set up for the stream, everything should be in place, and anything that seems out of place you can put as suggestions in the suggestions channel if you want to see a channel that exists there, or if something looks out of place. And again, Discord in the description. You can join to be notified of future streams. I will typically post the stream without a notification, like a ping, if you want to know when the stream is going to be happening. And then when the stream starts, I'll post it again with a ping. Do I not get bored? Well, I explained this earlier. Rui, I don't think that's supposed to be visible. You're just, yeah. You're using the funny Discord mod. Going back to Afano, though. Do I not get bored? I get very bored. I get very bored playing Hypixel, especially this garden stuff. Talking right now, speculating about like future content, that's what's keeping my brain active. Typically I'd put on a show or something while I do garden farming, and that's probably what I'll be doing after the stream. I plan on continuing to farm in the garden for a little bit longer. But I try to take a break as well every 3 to 4 hours whenever I'm sitting down. It's just nice to walk away from the computer, spend time doing something else, and I can come back later. Wait a minute. Is that... Huh? Are there two of you? Rui, on my screen, that, you talking in the third person message, that person doesn't have an R in front of their name. The question of a game show. So that's a fun thing. Back in the day, I participated in a recreation of Minecraft Amazing Race. It's on the YouTube. It's got like tens of thousands of views or something like that. Like a micro celebrity of some sort. And that person who made the game, it was pretty inspiring, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to do that for other people. So I've been making escape rooms, and I've also dabbled in making some other multiplayer game concepts that exist out there. And the game show ping is if I want to have some people play a game that I've created or do some sort of testing on something that I'm working on. Rui, I'll screenshot that and send it to you on Discord. It's a little weird. It could just be the YouTube not recognizing how to display your name properly. I was just wondering if that was like maybe Ash has some play on your nickname and they were there in chat as well. So, game shows will just be testing, playing some games. They will always be Minecraft related in some way. Sometimes it'll be a player versus player. Sometimes it'll be like a single player escape room experience. Yeah, perfect. I have one escape room on Hypixel, actually. I won't be streaming it for obvious reasons. That's going to give spoilers to anybody who wants to do the escape room in the future. But I would be happy outside of the stream if at one point you reach out to me on Discord. It takes about an hour to 2 hours for people to go through the escape room. And overall, people have seemed to enjoy it all the way through. So I would be happy to get you into that first escape room that I made. It's 1.19.4 Minecraft. It does leverage some of the newer mechanics. I try to be like a guide for people, like give them hints whenever they get stuck. And yeah, Rui got very stuck. I have another escape room in the works. My deadline for making the escape room is going to be December. That it'll be my second single-player escape room, and that one leverages a lot less on Minecraft mechanics, and it's more of a visual puzzle. The escape room, I've made it on a Hypixel SMP. The Hypixel SMP, I have to invite people directly, so you're going to have to reach out to me on my Discord. Send me a direct message or ping me somewhere in like general chat. Let me know if you want to play it at some point. And it'll usually take about an hour, hour and a half. I'll get you whitelisted, I'll get you on the server, and I'll be around that entire time if you have any questions or need some help. There's a timer that as soon as you start the escape room, it starts ticking up. So there's like a leaderboard of people who have gotten some good times, and there's also some people like Rui who took a few a couple of hours to get through the escape room. Some people insist that, like, I don't want any help at all. And then some people, they'll accept help. I usually let people struggle for at least 10 minutes in a room if they don't know what they're doing. If they get stuck, I'll be like, oh, I'll nudge them in the right direction. It's fun being a guide to my own puzzle. That would probably be smart, Rui. I should be able to get diamond bracket for this cactus contest. I'm pretty close. I think I'm closing the gap, at least. It was 48 last time it ticked upwards. It's 47. Nah, I might not be closing the gap fast enough. My apologies with the duo escape room. It is taking longer because I didn't know how to do anything except for hard code it, and I'm gonna have to sit down and hard code like 400 command blocks worth of code, and I'm not looking forward to doing that. Unfortunately, I won't be of much help to you, Rui. They're not responding to my ticket anymore either. So that'll be something where you either have to get some other instance of people to help out with your appeal, or they'll have to become a little bit more attentive towards my thing. Yeah. In the meantime, I've made this other single-player escape room. The goal is to give a winter holiday present to people. I have a gift-giving habit. Alright, take care. Have a good breakfast. I do seem to make escape rooms as a celebratory present. I'm realizing that a real-life surprise escape room is kind of just... the implication of it is not really gift-giving. But the video game escape room, I think, they make good presents. It's also a thing where, like, financially, I think a lot of people struggle to accept gifts. Oh, personalized cards. I'll look forward to it, Adu. I think financially people have a hard time accepting gifts, but the kind of stuff you do where you, like, group up a bunch of people and you have an amazing card for people, that's great. Like, it's the best kind of gift you can receive. It's like the time spent compared to money spent kind of thing. I always have this double take, like, are you sure? Oh no. I'm realizing that if I do become, like, streamer content person, oh no. I don't handle getting money that well. That's not gonna go over well. I just keep donations disabled forever. It's a hobby. I don't need to get paid. Even when someone gets me like plus in game, I have to do a double take. Like, are you sure? Are you absolutely positive? Do you want to like spend this on other things? Because most things like Discord Nitro, the plus rank on Hypixel, those disappear. And it's really hard to have like that sentimental value attachment to something that is temporary. And that's what a lot of things end up being. Like, it's temporary. Like if someone gets you a cake, it's temporary. But if you get a card, if you get something that you can hold on to as like a memento, that's permanent. And like you can go back, you can look on it and smile. I think the goal of gift giving, if I'm gonna be completely honest, the kind of gifts that I enjoy the most are the ones that I can look back on. That's why you get that on top of the card. Okay, thanks, Adu. Yeah. Oh, the video is nice. I'm glad you had fun. I had fun viewing the video. Oh, uh-oh. I hope I don't fall below diamond. Oh, no. The pest farming fortune reduction might be pushing me below diamond bracket. That would be unfortunate. I think I'm still... Okay, I think I'm safe. Maybe. Warp garden, yippee! Diamond bracket. I think I'm reaching that point in the night, and also with the stream, where I'm getting a little bit zoned out. I could go for another hour, but I cannot promise the best or the most insightful of commentary and uptime. So I think I'm kind of on my last legs. I'm going to go do another round of rabbits. And I'll probably farm for a little bit longer, but I'm not going to even make it to the next contest. I want to go get some water, lay back, watch a YouTube video, and then probably come back to do a little bit of farming after that. For the people who want to do the escape room, I could probably do one person tonight before I go to sleep. Let me check my Discord. Has anybody messaged? Alright. First come, first serve with the escape room, if someone wants to do it tonight. Otherwise, I'll just do some gardening and probably head to sleep after a while of gardening. I don't like giving up my enchanted carrots. It makes me feel broke. Okay. Get some good rest to do. I hope you feel better. I have no idea where I've been keeping farm armors out. Warp gold. Rabbit pet. And one more set of eggs. Welcome to the stream. Unfortunately, you've caught me at the tail end of the stream. Although, when you want to be notified for the next stream, Mr. Be Good Pig, I will be announcing that on the Discord with a stream notification. You're welcome to join. It's in the description. Is your IGN the same as what you are posting in chat? Good. Gotta watch out for this, most likely. Oh, fancy. Fancy island. It's got a nice walkway. I see the vision. I see the vision. I'm not sure what this over here is. But the first island you've designed right now looks really good. What's this? Diamond. You got a little diamond shrine there. So, what's up? Do you need me for anything? While I'm on your island? Just taking a peruse. I don't know why your NPCs are invisible. I think it adds to the ambience, not having to see them. Oh, you also can't view the tool rack here. Did you just want to be on the stream? Like, you wanted me to take a look at it, or nothing else? Okay. Well, I'm happy that I got to be there. Good island. I hope you enjoy building on Hypixel. You seem to have a knack for it. I don't really have any critiques. Good work. Alright, let me swap over to bingo. I'm going to make sure that I'm collecting all of the materials from my minions. Compared to the start of the bingo, I believe that I've made significant progress. Or the start of the stream, I mean. I think I've made significant progress on the bingo. Taking a look at the collection stats. These all look really good. Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. Alright. I think that being said, though, the minions have all been collected. I had a successful stream. If you're a VOD watcher, feel free to join the Discord. Maybe you can catch me live next time. I've been streaming pretty consistently around midnight Eastern is my starting time. But the stream schedule might be subject to change. I might stream in other time zones. Maybe try to make something a little more USA friendly. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate you all. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.